always tell when the sub host is here. You can always tell when Phil is around because we run out of stuff to talk about. He just makes things awkward.
It's my job. That's why you have me here.
Right. Anyways, welcome to everyone. We're sorry that Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man went long tonight on the Superstation, but we're here. It's 9:05. It's time for What's on Joe Mind. In case you forgot about us, because we took last week off. I think that was the first time you guys didn't have any content from us on a Tuesday in over a year.
Ooh.
So nobody has an excuse to like skip out. We've worked too hard, darn it. I'll come and find you. Worse, I'll send Phil after you.
Cal Ripken just called and said we're pussies.
Right, he did. But you know what? I'll take that from him.
Yeah, fair.
Anyways, stay with us. We'll be back after you watch our kick-ass theme sequence. Everybody, welcome to What's on Joe Mind. We are a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. How's everybody doing?
I'm here.
I do kind of, it's always the beginning of the show where I miss Joe Colton the most. Because invariably I would say, I'm hitting the button, and she would start to talk about something embarrassing. And everybody else, when I say I'm hitting the button, they get real quiet.
We
like I have to tell you that I'm hitting the button, right? It's disingenuous if I get us in a situation where I'm recording your movements and our conversations, and I don't tell you, right? Agreed?
Fair.
Sure.
It just, she would not process this information, and Mark will attest to this as one who was here to benefit from it with me the most.
Oh man, some of it was like we'd go live and she would be in mid-sentence and she'd go, and it fell out right in front of everybody.
Right. Those were never planned. She was not making that up. We were not putting on a bit, which she would just start like that was the time when I say I'm hitting the button. It was like her trigger to some deep repressed memory.
It was like I tried to aim left, but I hit him right in the middle. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show.
But he's here in the top row. He's refreshed after a long Memorial Day weekend. He is the former head of marketing for the G.I. Joe brand at Hasbro. It's the Hot Show, Mark Weber.
I mean, it is show week for Barrington Christian Academy's Beauty and the Beast production. We had a soccer tournament up in Amherst. We got the lovely Elizabeth filling up water quietly in the kitchen. I got kids all around me. They trimmed Colin's claws today at the vet.
Oh, man.
And it took an offensive line to hold him down and a straight jacket. It was a production. So we got a lot going on at the Weber house.
Don't they just drug him up with some kitty treats and some catnip? And
they should just shoot him with an elephant tranquilizer.
Right.
He's an angry drunk.
Right.
It doesn't work.
He's generally at the vet. He's just kind of resigned to this is going to suck. And he's a big cat, but I think they underestimate him. They should put it in the file. Like, this thing is hell on earth.
Right.
Once you try to get a paw away from him. But
right. If you're clipping the cat claws, man, you got to have the catnip handy. You got to have the cat hammock where you just hang them up and leave them suspended there, and then you can they don't get any leverage. I mean, there's a production involved here, and they should be ready for that at the vet.
He's polydactyl, right? So he's got the extra paws and the toes and paws and claws up front. So there's one between the thumb and one of the 7 other fingers that actually curls back into his paw, and it's painful. So we got to make sure he gets a claw. But I remember the first time I showed up there, because we had tried to do it, and it's just no way. We're not built for that. We're not professionals. And I said, hey, how much are a claw trim for a cat? And they're like, it's a $25 charge. And I'm like,
worth it.
Best money ever spent. Right?
Well, you're like, excellent.
Yeah. So I haggled. I'm like, 25. Would you take a Slaughter's Marauders barbecue?
And they say we can't make change for that because that's worth easily $200 to $300.
Yeah.
Only if you're on eBay.
Too. because when Colin gets his claws fixed, and a bunch of vets get to donate blood, so that's
Right.
cool. Yeah.
Back in the day when I had cats, when I was married, one of them, Stinky, ironically enough, she used to have oils gather up in her anal glands.
Oh boy.
Right. And ironically, we did not, when I named the cat Stinky, that was not the reason why I named her Stinky. But that was just one of the issues that she had. And I remember about every quarter we'd have to take her to the vet to get those expressed. And I remember the vet saying, you can come back and we can teach you how to do that. And I just broke out laughing right there in the vet's office. Oh no. That is absolutely worth my $25. I'm not, you guys are professionals and I respect you. And this is not me laughing at you, but no. So yeah. Anyways, in the bottom row, he is our comics expert. We have new mini-series to discuss in full when we get a chance. Lord knows when that's going to be, but hey, it's summer, so he's reckless and on the loose. It's Ragtime Rob.
Hello. I'm laying about shiftlessly.
That's the truth, man. He's been off
It's right there.
basically since last weekend. Friday was his first day without kids, and Monday was his first day not having to go to school. And yeah, JLS Comics has it right. I got here to hear anal glands first. This should be an interesting evening.
You have no
So
idea,
it's
sir.
entirely possible. But yeah, Ragtime Rob has been entirely here too much. I'm used to having the house to myself for a couple hours a day before he comes home from school. And no, he needs we got to get him a job. That's really what it is.
Stinking
I have a job.
Teamsters get a full-time salary and they get summers off. Oh,
Yeah.
that's them's fighting words.
Right.
Them's fighting words, particularly with the year I had.
Craig Cohan, 3 more days and I am done. Vaya con Dios, senor.
Good on you, sir.
But and then also in the bottom row, he's here tonight because last night I realized that we still didn't have a whole lot of news to talk about. We had a kind of an open spot, and the next couple of weeks are jam packed with guest stars. So if I didn't get him in tonight, we weren't going to see him for like 2 solid months. Phil Donnelly from Articulated Points is here.
Hello.
We are
Rob,
going to be
the shift
jammed
is
like
right
a
below capsule.
405.
I'm sorry, Phil. Rob was pointlessly talking over you. What'd you say?
I said the shift is right below the caps lock.
Okay, I'm sorry I went back for that. Anyways, how's things going, Phil? It's been a little bit.
Good. Got a few things in that I'm happy to share and show off later on. So looking forward to that.
When it's time and not
When it's
before.
No, anything in its proper place.
Meantime, everyone can just stare at your weird collection of lady action figures on your shelf.
There's some dudes
There's a
up
guy
there.
there.
There's a couple dudes, sure. Just to throw people off. Sean Russell asks, is Rob too old for Paperboy or Lemonade Stand? I say no, but his car is too nice to be a Paperboy in today's day and age. Usually you got to have a real
for
beater.
most things.
You got to have a real beater to be a Paperboy these days. So
Paperboy, underrated video game.
You got to remember to blow on the cartridge before it'll load.
Michael Johnson, welcome to the show, asks, is that a new painting in Mark's stairwell?
Well, it's funny. It's as low rent as I am in decorating. It's just a nail on the wall where I hang different shirts every week. So, given that it was Memorial Day, I got my favorite Pat's Run T-shirt for my Arizona time. So that's honoring Pat Tillman for Memorial Day yesterday. So, but I like that you think I have art on the wall.
Right. It's a compliment in its own way.
Yeah, you speak well of me, and I appreciate it.
Michael Gene Fleming asks or says that we should make Rob deal with the kids in summer school. He's done that before, but Rob teaches special ed, so typically summer school's not a thing, is it?
No, they used to have a summer program that like went a couple weeks and we did fun stuff and things like that. It was almost like summer camp almost, but they don't do that anymore.
Summer School was a better movie than Summer Camp anyway. Just saying.
That's a low bar.
You and your Mark Harmon worship.
Right? No, Kirstie Alley, man.
Yeah, so Summer School was not a bad movie for its time. It was okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time though.
It's not a good movie either.
No, but how many of them were, right? How many of those 80s comedies were truly great movies and we love them anyway? How many more times do I have to bore you to death with dissertations on Back to School before you understand that it's just because it's not a great movie does not mean it's not a great movie.
Fair. Triple Lindy and all.
Triple Lindy. Effing yeah.
My daughter put on Adventures in Babysitting the other day. That thing holds up.
Right. I had
Fine
somebody
film.
else say that to me a few weeks ago.
Fine film.
That Adventures in Babysitting has something of an edge to it even to this day.
And just a touch of Thor.
Mm-hmm. And the guy who played Thor is the guy who's playing Kingpin now,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
With long, blonde, luscious locks.
Right? And a physique. Who knew?
It is weird being skinny Vincent D'Onofrio.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't
Well,
seen
I
that.
mean,
He
he
was,
didn't even do that in Private Joker. I mean, a Private Pie.
that was it. He was in Full Metal Jacket not long after. So there was some serious training or negative training between those two
Right.
movies.
No, he got the part as Private Pile, and to hear him talk about it, he just went eating binge to fill out the frame to what the script specified. So
To be fair, he was so thin in Men in Black that the skin was practically falling off him.
that's not it at all. Andrew Goggin says, in the words of the podcast Junk Food Cinema, that's not a plug, by the way. It's not a good movie, but it's a great movie.
Yeah.
I would say that Back to School is easily the best of the Rodney Dangerfield pictures.
Probably no argument there. Oh, some people say Caddyshack, but
I mean, if you consider the Rodney Dangerfield pictures, ones where he's the headliner.
okay, that's
Right. That's what I mean. Like Caddyshack's kind of a group project,
An ensemble.
right? Very much an ensemble. But Back to School is very much Rodney's movie. The one cinematic appearance of one Sam Kinison.
Oh, there you go.
The only one.
He was in Three Amigos, but they cut his scene out
They
and lost
cut
the
him.
footage, so he can't see it anymore.
How you gonna cut Bobcat Goldthwait? Same guy.
No, not even close.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Sam Kinison was Zed in the Police Academy movies? That's
That'd be
a whole
awesome.
That's a whole different movie.
That'd be so good.
Haven't recently watched the first 4 Police Academies.
Oh,
They
did you throw your back out and were unable to change the channel? What's up?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those weekends.
there was it was a mini marathon on AMC. I was disappointed that they didn't roll into 5, 6, and 7, but it was just 1 through 4.
Rights
It's like
issues, who knows?
Only
Or
the
just, this is
theatrical
us.
releases.
This is how much we can take. No, all 7 of them were theatrical. Mission
No,
Moscow did make it to theaters.
Jake Rose has the best comment, the early leader for comment of the day from the Three Amigos.
Was he the invisible sword?
If only
Ah,
he was a wild man, like wearing like furs and stuff, but his scenes were cut, and we don't know. Like
If
Fran
Sam-
Drescher is in the movie too, and she was mostly cut out of that. She's in like one scene as they walk by, if you're paying attention.
if
But
Sam
she had a whole
Kinison-
subplot.
if Sam Kinison was the invisible swordsman, he would not have died quietly.
No.
They would have known he was there. Yes.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine
But,
how different Married with Children would have been if they cast him like they wanted?
Hmm.
As it is, he made several notable appearances on that program anyway. But we've wasted enough of the world's time. Let's go ahead and roll into community calendar.
I see we've evolved into the 2001 A Space Odyssey intros now.
Well, the story is done for phase 2 there, so we're just gonna roll with the generic one while AbsorbVids puts together more magic.
You need to
Community
put
calendar.
the helmet on and reflect that off the screen.
Community calendar brought to you by Roma Collectibles. Roma Collectibles is available to you all the time at Roma Collectibles, the toy store. That is in Springfield, Ohio. They are closed Monday and Tuesday because Tuesday is What's on Joe Mind watching day. Wednesday through Saturday, 12 to 7, Sunday, 12 to 5. They're always buying. They're always selling. They're at most shows in the Eastern Seaboard, hawking their wares. They are the officially traveling hobo retailer of What's on Joe Mind. You can see the proprietors there. If you see either of them at the store, just no sudden moves. No sudden, easily triggered to violence. They're wonderful folks. Just keep it calm, and you'll make it out okay.
Looks like Phil is drowning or trapped under something heavy.
Right. Or
There's
Zartan
fell
is.
down on Phil.
You dropped the Roma sign on Phil again.
Ow!
That's good. That's good.
Hey, Bart's trying to win the comment of the day now.
Did he not have a plethora of scenes? No, just the one.
Oh, and Wapple.
Just the one.
Could it be
One
that
and Wapple.
once again you are angry at something else and taking it out on me, Hefe?
Great line.
Anyhow. Cheapest Big Spender says Dazed and Confused, the ultimate school movie. I guess it's a 90s movie, though. It's not an 80s movie. We're keeping it to 80s movies. Dustin Jeffrey needs to find his copy of PCU. Again, great movie, 90s movie.
It's probably, if it's in your movie collection, it's probably harassing the female leads of your other movies in the collection.
More than likely.
You know, Jeremy Piven's in it.
Right. It's terrible. It's probably true, but terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you know, apparently everything that guy's ever worked on, you know,
Somebody's
HR
got terrible stories. Somebody's got terrible stories. Anyways, coming up this weekend, it's the show that we told you about in our previous episode 2 weeks ago. Armor 4 happening in the cyber world, out in the ether, on the cloud.
Ooh, technology.
Still order your gear kit from Codename Iowa. It's not going to be there for you by Saturday, though. But you can still tune in, catch all the great free content. Joe Declassified's doing a panel. Brian's talking about something. There's a few other things going on.
That's something.
Right. I look, man, I got a lot going on here. I can't memorize everything on community calendar. But Operation Armor 4, as you can tell from the graphic here, if you've been under a rock, that is Eco Warriors themed, and it's all kinds of fun stuff. If you need more details, go back, watch our previous episode where Mark and I talked to Brian Sauer for the better part of an hour all about it. Visit codenameiowa.com/store. Get yourself some goodies from Operation Armor 4. That rhymes.
Ooh,
That was not intended. I feel
it's
better.
poetry.
It truly is. Visit codenameiowa.com/store. Get yourself set for Operation Armor 4.
Stay out of my
Work on the
way.
jingle later.
Stay out of my way, or you'll pay. Listen to what I say.
Do horses eat hay?
I just may.
Nay.
We could go out and play.
Anybody want a
now?
peanut?
No more rhymes.
Does anybody want a peanut?
But so again, if you need more details on Operation Armor 4, go back, watch What's on Joe Mind 309. We'll give it all to you in glorious rerun.
He's
Like,
back.
quote Princess Bride and get kicked.
Firefly says that the gear kit sales ended over a week ago. The pre-sale of gear kit ended over a week ago. I believe they'll still send you a gear kit.
Mhm.
Anyways, go check it out. Go check it out.
I like how Phil doesn't even react to being banned. He just waits.
This is it. This is my Tuesday evening.
I didn't mean to kick him. I just meant to mute him so I could get that out. But I hit
So
the wrong part of the window.
He was racially profiled.
He was pre-banned.
Yep. Does that mean the next time he goes out of bounds, he's got one like a get out of jail free card and gets to stay?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I believe that my client has already done the time.
I'm just saying that the producer that makes no mistakes.
Oh, fair enough.
He gets a $5 Target gift card.
Right.
I once banned Russia and Rob at the same time. So
you banned Rob from the entire channel.
I did. Get out forever.
I had to fix it.
And I guest hosted.
And then he comes back to guest host. That's a good turnaround. Comeback story.
Next up, also this weekend, if you're in a more southerly persuasion, Iron City Comic Con happening in Birmingham, Alabama. That is on the 1 and the 2. Guests include Ray Park, Rob Paulson, and a bunch of other non-G.I. Joe folks. You can get all the details there at ironcitycomiccon.com. Mark, anybody on that list there that you're just dying to meet?
I mean, I think Ray Park's awesome. He's one of the few guys who hits two fan bases pretty strongly, right?
Yeah.
So right before my exit, I lobbied hard for him to be at that Hasbro convention and to do one day, doing Joe stuff, and then the next day doing Star Wars stuff. And nothing came of it. I don't know why it didn't happen, but he's a great guest because he hits two fan bases so positively.
I mean,
and
he hits the X-Men base too because he was Toad. And those
but he was Toad, right?
Look, I know, but he's still he's easier to get than a lot of those guys. So
yes,
imagine he'd be well received.
I suppose that's true. But from a comic perspective, and Rob will back it up, Michael Golden is I know you can be that good and still be underrated, kind of, but he's a big deal. Good catch. And Kane's a redhead, so there you go.
If I've never met Townsend Coleman, but if I did, and the first word is not me shouting spoon at him, then something is wrong, and I need to be smacked.
They need to get the table next to him should be the kid from The Matrix, whose only line is "There is no spoon," and then they have a running gag for the whole show.
He just says there is no, and then Townsend finishes it.
Zaymot CGC says that he sees some Ninja Turtle voice actors in that list. Yes, it's actually they're got all 4 of the guys from the '87 series, but not all of them are matter to us because we're G.I. Joe show, so we don't care. But they're all on hand, all 4 of them. I don't know who the 4th guy is. It's Townsend Coulson, Rob Paulson, Jim Cummings, and I forget.
3 of them charge the same prices, but one of them's a jerk.
We don't know that. We don't know any of that.
$20 each or $100 for all 4. What?
Bad math. Cheapest Big Spender asked, will Brent Spiner be cosplaying the crazy scientist from Independent Day? We can hope.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how he normally dresses.
Personally, I want to see him cosplay Bob Wheeler.
That would be fantastic.
Hello.
Only if you can get June Wheeler to come hang out with him.
Oh, I love the Wheelers.
I mean, they were both on the show this season.
Okay.
Not outside the realm of possibility.
Is that the new Night Court, Phil?
Yeah.
Or okay, because I haven't watched any of those. Not a single one.
I might have to watch that one.
I mean, it's Larroquette as Dan Fielding. I can't turn my nose to any of it because that character is fantastic. But
man, I like Night Court, but I don't remember the Wheelers.
Yeah, they were the hard luck Grapes of Wrath family that showed up on 5 episodes.
Okay, got it. Now, I remember that.
Burn characters.
Are we ever gonna get to Disney World, Daddy? No, never.
I remember when my favorite bit ever was when Mac won the lottery and they carried him in on a royal throne with a crown, and they held him up, and he just looked at everybody. They played the fanfare, and he said, "I quit."
Oh, Matt Rubin, Cam Clark is the fourth turtle. Leonardo, if I remember correctly, probably. I don't know.
More expensive for Cam Clark.
He was, more importantly, he was Deflator Mouse on the tick. So more importantly, mind you, 10 seasons of Leonardo out the window. 3 seasons of Deflator Mouse as a recurring character, far better.
Concurrent.
Anyways, next up. We got some of those inside pitch shows. June 8th coming up in Salisbury at the West End Plaza Event Center. That is from 9 to 4. $5 gets you in. Kids 12 and under are abundant, so they're giving them away for free. And then on June 15th and 16th, they're rolling on out to Rolla at the Kerr Scott Building. That is 9 to 4 Saturday, 10 to 4 Sunday, $5 single day, $8 for the whole weekend. It's a bargain at twice the price. Again, kids 12 and under just roaming free. You can just pick one up and take one with you. Free parking at all shows. Get more information at InsidePitchPromo.com. Remember, these guys do toys and baseball cards and Pokemon and all kinds of stuff. So make sure that these are both toy shows. I checked that. If you've got some other interest, be sure to check out that website. Make sure that they're catering to your particular sensibilities. Phil, you going to be there?
North Carolina? No.
Why not, Phil?
Because I'm in California.
Are you saying you're too good for the fans, Phil?
That is exactly what I am saying. Yes.
Phil's saying he's the guy that puts the no in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. No.
Oh. Cheapest big spender. Free parking with free kids. I'll pay for parking if that's the catch. Nice.
That's how they get you.
That's quality right there. That's a good line. See, Michael Gene Fleming, he's probably going to be there. You're hurting Michael Gene Fleming, Phil.
Well, if that's the side effect, then fine.
As
will hurt Michael Gene Fleming.
Wreckship 85 says it's only 5 inches of travel, according to his map. So you really have no excuse, Phil. No excuse.
He makes a good point.
It's astute, very astute.
There's an inappropriate joke in there somewhere, but we'll move on past
there is.
Most maps aren't that big. So, I mean, really, Phil, he's being responsible. He's using the bigger map.
Right.
And, of course, Jake Rose summing it up well. That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, InsidePitchPromo.com. Sorry, no discounts for Hug and Phil because Phil's too good.
Mm-hmm. Putting the nah in North Carolina.
Happening June 14th to 16th. It's one of the big comic shows on the calendar anywhere. Heroes Convention going on in Charlotte. Tickets and information available heroesonline.com. Guests include Bob Camp, Larry Hama, Jim Shooter, and many, many, many more. Cannot understate the guest list on HeroesCon. Basically, if you're anybody who's anybody, you're got a table at HeroesCon. That's how big their guest list is. Head to heroesonline.com and check that out for yourself, as well as ticket pricing. It's really not too bad for as big a show as it is. But this is more for our comics crowd. Weber, what happened? Who stepped on the dog?
This is my life.
Timmy's stuck in the well.
Yeah.
Tell Derek to quit kicking the dog.
Thank God Emma keeps me safe.
Anyhow, I know Heroes Convention, when the winds blow in from the east, they call to Racktime Rob, and he tries to float away like a cartoon character towards a pie, but he can't make it. It's too far. It's more than 5 inches of travel.
It's like 6.
Phil, you got to make that one?
I'm considering it.
Right.
No.
Whatever, Phil.
Consideration done.
Whatever.
I have considered.
It
Whatever,
might be your best chance to get Jim Shooter to sign your Shooter figure. Just saying. Mm-hmm.
I'm actually good. Thanks.
I'm just saying.
I don't think that's the connection that people are going to make there, Mark. But
It's true, though, isn't it?
I mean,
Yeah,
I think you
yes.
could.
Yeah, it was an
Good.
in-joke, right? Originally.
Yep.
Something like that.
Hard to get 13 Joes to stack evenly in squares. So
Right.
what are we going to do, boss?
Make a 14th. Even that up.
And I'll make a figure out of her. Yes, I will.
There you go. Was that one that was released on your watch, Mark?
Yeah, I was.
All right.
That was totally me. I totally pushed for that.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I guess that would have been right in the window there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would have done it either way, but DDP did that really good, like mini issue run of her, right? Explaining it, kind of inserting her into that first Joe story. I thought that was
Right.
some of their best work.
That's
So,
That was Larry Hama.
Yeah, absolutely.
right. Some fine work by Diamond Dallas Page.
That's right, right?
He's not known for his comic book work, but right there it was.
That and the yoga, he's multi-talented.
Right, he's on top of things.
Mhm.
I mean, you can't make fun of Diamond Dallas Page. He's like pushing 70, and he looks like he's about 40.
True.
I mean, except for his face, which is roadmap to like crazy, but it should be. He's almost 70.
Yeah.
Like when I was 40, I didn't look as good as he looks now. So I can't make fun of Diamond Dallas Page. He'll come kick my ass.
His pure love for Cody Rhodes keeps him young.
Just nobody escapes the orbit, do they, Mark? Nobody. I mean, give the man a break. His dad saved his career.
I suppose that's fair.
You leave Diamond Dallas Page alone.
But it's slowly being evened out by the number of careers Cody is burying. So
He's not burying anybody's career, Mark.
at some point,
You're just bitter because you don't like him.
it's mainly true.
I'm not saying it's my thing either, but burying? No, I don't think we haven't seen the man bury.
Quick sidebar.
Sorry.
Quick sidebar. Did you see the U.S. champ splash him through the table, hit him with brass knucks in the ribs, splash him from the top rope, not get the pin, then get picked up and have Cody say, "I'm Cody Rhodes, bitch," and hit his finish 3 times and pin him clean in the middle of the ring? Because I
mean,
did.
Sure. But do you really want Logan Paul as your champion?
Not want Logan Paul as my champion, but there's no point to bury your U.S. champ like that.
It's a mid-card guy. You expect him to get buried.
He's not a mid-card guy.
He ain't
He's got a
winning
mid-card belt, but he's not a mid-card guy.
that. Sure, but he's representing the mid-card belt, so you're not expecting him to win. Not taking
Plenty of guys Rhodes could have beat down there. Plenty of guys. Just saying.
you're just bitter, Mark.
Yeah, well, if you don't think that's a burial,
No,
I think we're done here.
it's
But the
it's
people
not
love to see him buried.
it's not a burial because he's going to be back on Friday jacking his jaw about the U.S. title again.
It's probably true.
It can't be a burial until we see what happens afterwards. Like if he loses his next match in 4 minutes and is suddenly off TV, I will concede a burial.
I'm Cody Rhodes, bitch. Now eat 3 of my finishers and get pinned clean. Okay.
He was the evil one, man. He had the brass knuckles and stuff.
I would dispute the evil thing, but okay. Look, and I'm no Logan Paul fan, other than he's pretty good in the ring.
He's fantastic. I hate that he's as good at what he does
Right?
as he is.
Exactly.
Absolutely can't stand it, but he's fantastic as a wrestler.
There you go. See? Welcome home. We finally agree on something.
Cranky old man, Mark Webber. Cranky old man.
I'm getting there.
Anyways, Heroes Con. Check it out at heroesonline.com.
Wait, what are we talking about?
June 14th to the 16th. That's coming up real soon. Like what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I don't know. Something real close.
2.
Father's Day weekend.
Right. That's kind of weird timing, but sure. Anyways, moving forward. Hey, JoeFest is coming up. Has anybody heard of this one?
Ooh,
Nope.
big guest list.
That's right. It includes me and Mark and Racktime Rob. We got Sergeant Slaughter. We got Morgan Lofting. Pixel Dan's going to be there. Many, many more. Because there's all kinds of stuff going on down in Augusta, Georgia, June 21 to 23. Tickets and information are there for you at JoeFestUSA.com. Phil, you got to make this one?
I wish, but no.
Oh, Phil. Oh,
San Diego Comic-Con is expensive.
Cheapest big spender. He understands what's important. Can Logan Paul air guitar a steel chair? Then he ain't crap. And that's, that's fair. That's fair. Tough, but fair. Nick Adams will be have a booth at JoeFest this year. Be giving out free sleep hoods with every purchase.
Okay.
All right. Will they be big enough to fit
Superhead?
Superhead? That's the question, because Mark and I will put that to the test.
Yes, we will.
We are of the Bruce Bochy wing of podcasters.
Remember how the Wild Samoans would double headbutt a guy? That's Mike's and my tag finish.
Right. And
Bring it on.
There has to be somebody taking that, because if our heads hit one another, it would probably cause a black hole style implosion.
Right. We would rip the space-time continuum for sure.
Nick Adams says it's just a Walmart plastic bag. It'll fit most heads. Well, then we're out.
Right.
We're out.
We have so many passed out people in the convention center.
Right. Don't give the fans plastic bags.
It'll be a tragedy. Make the evening news for all the wrong reasons.
Oh boy.
Josiah Alcorn will be in attendance. Looking forward to a Bart hug. If Sarge will be there giving free atomic noogies, I don't know.
Not free.
That I don't know. Probably not free. You probably got to have to pay for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Or he might give it for free if nobody's taking a picture.
Right.
But provided you want photo evidence, I imagine that's where the cost comes in.
Cobra clutch, $10. Clotheslines, free.
What about ears, fingers?
In conjunction with us being a JoeFest, if you hit up Patch Czar, you're going to be able to get yourself this Staff Sergeant C-Nugs patch, limited to just 25 in number. They're going to be $15 at booth 160. I would recommend finding him early. And just so you know, Patch Czar is going to have his own table way in the far left back corner. Just follow the smell of wafting fried chicken nuggets.
Let's see if you can get him to sell out in 6 minutes.
You got to get ahead of us on the news there, Phil. Is that what you're going to do tonight?
It's foreshadowing.
Phil's out.
Apparently, it's not foreshadowing.
Wait,
that is
my client had a get out of jail free card. I must object.
No, he did not. But booth 160 is in the back left there. We're still trying to figure out where we're going to be. We're going to have a presence on the floor, but I'm not 100% sure where it is, so we're not telling you just yet.
Yeah. Mike
We will be like a band of marauding, bandits.
Stopping every so often at a booth so Mike can laugh at their beachhead prices.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Because if they decide to eBay price, then yes, I will. But if they price like, say, the last show I was at in Kentucky, those were very fair prices. They were very, very good.
We don't know, and it's a good idea that we don't, what your beachhead threshold is from a price standpoint. But let's say there were good shaped beachheads under that threshold. How many beachheads could you reasonably bring back from this show?
It depends.
That's
I don't know where I'm
threshold. We don't know.
Right. I don't know what my cash situation will be like specifically just yet. So I'll have something obviously, but I don't know what I'm bringing. So I can't answer that.
All right. That's fair. I'm just going to put it out there to the fine retailers with their tables at JoeFest. These beachhead figures are all coming to Mike eventually.
Right.
So you may as well cut out the middleman and bring them home to Papa.
I'll say that at Kentuckiana at Winterfest in January, there were more than I was able to purchase. That's how good that floor was.
All right.
So it's possible for you to sneak one out of there without me getting a hold of it. But RecShip85 asks, if I get a beachhead, will you sign it, Mike? I'll sign anything.
No, if you get a beachhead, he will sign you, and then he gets the beachhead.
As I said, I will sign anything.
Ooh.
So anything. Well, almost anything.
Right. Absorb vids just wait. Ooh.
Right.
That's a good soundbite.
Right. Doug Dello asks, "Are you guys hard to find in a crowd?" I would say no, because we're
No.
probably we're like the offensive line of GI Joe podcasts. Mark is 6'3" and 2 something. I'm over 6 feet and 3 something, and Rob is the same height as me and not quite that big. And yeah, we're big and loud, so it's tough to miss us.
And nimble too. We're not plodding. We'll
surprisingly nimble. Yes.
Yeah, we'll get you.
Right. We've been hitting the cross training. So it.
Yeah, I've been having beef and chicken.
Right.
One of them's healthy.
The giant tire's on its way for you guys to keep flipping over.
Right.
Oh, that'd be good. Mm.
Like
Hey, what's on Joe Mind training montage? Set to Vince Nicola's War. It's going to be fantastic.
Michael Gene Fleming has it correct. Some Mike will laugh at and enjoy, some he will laugh at and scorn. That is correct. There was an incident in Kentuckiana where I was giving scornful laughs. Just one. I came home with 5 of them, so not many, clearly. But there was one. Zaymot CGC asks, "Are beachheads becoming an endangered species?" No,
they're perfectly safe in his thing.
There's a lot out there.
It's a beachhead preserve.
I'll say it to everybody again. The 2 biggest sales for 3 3/4 GI Joe back in the day were 1986 and 1987. Beachhead was available for both of those 2 years. There's plenty of them out there. There's plenty of them out there that have waste pieces that are intact. There's plenty of them out there that have ammo bags. Anybody trying to tell you that beachhead is rare in any way, shape, or form is full of crap. If I'm an expert on buying one thing,
right,
it's vintage beachhead, and there is no shortage of quality examples to have.
Right, but check back in 10 years. When more are in the landfill or whatever.
Right.
And,
well, I mean, that's the same way with any of them, though, right?
Yeah. Well, and by then Mike will have 500.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. We're coming for Dan Larson's Boba Fett's is all I'm saying.
What's important to remember, though, is Mike treats them well. He has free range beachheads, right?
Correct.
You run through the fields.
Bart says that I am signing his left moob, and I say, why not the right one? What's wrong with the right one that I don't get to sign the right one?
The left one's over the heart.
It's your problem, Bart. Anyways, nobody's gonna offend me with moves. Get out of here.
Hey, Better Ray Bob has a good point.
I'll get there eventually. Hang on. Oh, there it is. Will Mark be doing a Rapcho cosplay at JoeFest? Will he?
No.
Well,
but that doesn't mean I'm not bringing a costume.
All right, there we go. Mark is signing the right move. So there you go.
No, he isn't.
I'm just saying.
And you wonder why I don't go to conventions.
There you go. Ding, 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 ding.
I mean, you could wear the headdress, Mark. Just wear the falcon head thing. I'm sure that's
not a bad call.
Get something done there.
I'm sure it's not itchy at all.
No, not in the least. Or sweaty.
Right.
I'm sure that breathes. That helmet covered in feathers.
Conventions are sweaty enough. Besides, I got to be best foot forward. The Baroness is going to be there.
Right.
Come on now.
Right.
That's why you have to show off your majestic plumage.
Right.
And of course, Techno Viper 3D will have his Staff Sergeant C-Nugs in action figure available. This is going to be also JoeFest, of course. We're still trying to figure out where he's going to be. That's part of the whole thing with where we're going to be, because I think these are going to be with us, manning whatever piece of table we score. So I'm not 100% certain what that's going to be just yet. So more details as they are made available. But these will be limited too. I think he's made 50 on these guys. So once we buy up what we want, whatever 13 that are left will be available to the public. So, and nobody reacts. Okay, fine. You be that way.
Fine.
You just be that way.
I nodded in approval.
I was still thinking about Bart's moves.
That is distracting. That truly has cast a pall over the broadcast. That's for certain.
He's 6'6",
Well, I mean, that just means he'll be easy to spot.
and his name is Robert Paulson.
That is not correct. I think his name is Bart.
Man,
That's my guess. That's a hunch.
reasonable. That's a reasonable guess.
Right? We have that on good authority. Doug Dello asked, "Should we troop build Staff Sergeant C Nugs?" No, don't do that. Let's let one get out to as many people as possible. There is only one Staff Sergeant C Nugs, so
Next year you can do Night Force Staff Sergeant Seahawks in action figure.
right. That's just or Tiger Force. Just paint little stripes on them. The color already kind of works. So
Is the Night Force Staff Sergeant C Nugs the one that was in the fryer too long?
Right.
It's a little dark.
And the Tiger Force one is the one that sucks and isn't fun to play with.
well, I mean, he's going to be as fun as this guy. So I think that's hurtful, Mark.
I don't know.
I mean, look at that guy. He's chock full of fun.
This guy is, but you put tiger stripes on him and he's not as cool.
I mean, what if they were barbecue stripes?
Ooh.
But then,
Slaughter's Marauders C Nugs. That's a good call.
The honey mustard stripes.
but
So it's bright
he
yellow.
will come with his gear in one of 3 pouch flavors,
Mm.
and I'll have those for you once we get them finalized. But so this is fun. This is all Michael Kleppinger, Techno Viper 3D on Instagram. If you need a good one to follow, so all credit goes to him. Yeah. So yeah, Matt Rubin says Tiger Force is mustard stripes. So that works for me.
I gotta think Night Force C Nugs just has the colors inverted, right? He's got like tan eyes and mouth.
That would be great.
And the fans won't like him because they'll be like, "Oh, it's just a repaint, no new tooling."
Or if we give him a different gun, they'll complain because it's not the same as the old one.
The guy will be like, "How come the gun's green? That's lame."
That would be lame. I'm going to be consistent on that one. That would be lame.
You should be consistent because you're right.
Anyway, speaking of breaking news at JoeFest, we have some. We have some breaking news.
Hark!
And here it is.
My.
Join us at JoeFest in the panel room Saturday, June 22 at 4 p.m. We are hosting the Morgan Lofting panel at the big event. So yay us. You could have been in that picture, Phil, but no.
Nope.
I'm a loner, Dottie, a rebel.
No,
Well,
you're neither of those things, Phil.
I'm not giving out her address here, but I believe Morgan Lofting is a California girl, right?
Right.
Probably.
She's actually trying to get away from Philip to spend time with us. Just saying.
That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So Phil could be the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But Morgan is actually an old friend of ours. Last time we talked to her was back before the video days. She won our G.I. Joe parody trivia event. She besting Brian Cummings and Zach Hoffman in G.I. Joe trivia. So it'll be old home week with Morgan Lofting in the What's on Joe Mind interview lounge. Any questions?
Just if she
Seeing none, moving on.
Dude, if she calls me darling in her Baroness voice, I'm done.
All right, fair enough.
I'm just gonna get up and walk out. Like, good night, everybody.
Your evening is complete.
I held the door for her at a JoeFest and didn't realize who she was. And she walked, or at Joe Con. And
right.
And when she walked through, she didn't know who I was, obviously, but she knew I was probably a Joe fan. And she said, "Thank you, darling." And I'm like, holy.
Well, that was Springfield. Was that the one she was at?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a notable Joe Con for many reasons, because that was the one where we met you for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And you stalked us
Yeah, and you were like, wow, they got a rock star there. This brand's going to the moon.
We're like, who's this weird guy that wants to talk to us in an empty hallway?
Yeah,
Did I flag Gary?
That was me.
Then it was Mark.
Yeah.
So, oh God, has Hasbro come to shut us down?
I'll talk.
We
I'll
need
talk
the
to
dope.
I'll talk to anybody.
Gary.
I called at one of the casino nights when he wasn't breaking hearts and taking money. I told Carson that he was an ally to the brand, and it meant the world to him. Right? He was like, "Really? That's awesome." And now look at him. Who's the rock star now?
I mean, it's still me, but
Well, fair, but
no, I mean Carson's got everything going for him. We're still opening at state fairs,
yeah, pretty much.
but
We're
You
a
guys get to go to
nostalgia
state
tour.
fairs?
I'm just saying, he better remember who believed him when he was just some guy running around a con floor. Anyways,
He believed in himself.
well, of course,
Diane,
but we did too. Damn it!
Diane's got a quote there that can be taken completely out of context.
Right. This is sick and wrong. That was the one Mark let me hold the holiest of holies.
This is a family show.
We too were surprised that Mark showed up in the Shroud of Turin.
Mm-hmm. So funny story. Well, maybe not that funny. This was closer to when I'd had the surgery for my tongue cancer, which involved a little neck surgery, and I would get incredibly painful neck cramps like once a month, and they were like getting hit down low. They were 2 minutes of unbelievable pain that would just end. And I was setting up the new figures in the Hasbro booth with a bunch of fans watching when one of them hit. And you can't do nothing but just sit there and endure. There's no twist or anything or shrug or flex that would make it better. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, now? Really? And so everybody just looked at me frozen there, grimacing for 2 minutes. And then it was like my needle was skipping. And after about 2 minutes, and I'm like, okay, back to work. That wasn't weird at all.
You should have gotten one of those mini tape players and just had a little and acted like it was one of those microphones.
Right.
You know, just hey,
like
everybody, Mark Weber here.
I was hunting Scuzzlebutt or something.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's when the new Duke, I was putting the new Duke figure out, and Diana was close by.
Right so there, front and center.
And I'm like, as though anyone else should be handling this. Right, here you go. So
much like Rob with Heroes Con, she just wafted over like a cartoon character tracking a pie.
Mm-hmm. And then later at the kind of formal dinner / auction, I wandered in, I think a little late, and Daryl was sitting with his old school G.I. Joe crew who he only would see at conventions. Right. And so I wandered in solo, not a +1, like a -1. And I had no idea where I was going to sit. And Diana spotted me and saw that I was adrift and went, right over here, Mark, we got room at our table. And that was very nice. So I appreciate that.
But because that was back in the day when we didn't know you from Adam.
Right. I was just the latest in a line of replaceable brand managers. And ironically, that's what I was too.
Anywho, so again, Saturday in the afternoon, right at 4 p.m., I believe we are closing the show that day. We will be there conducting the Morgan Lofting panel. So thrills, spills, and lots of fun and hopefully surprises. Hopefully not unpleasant surprises. Mm-mm. I suppose we should probably touch base with Morgan Lofting and figure out what's kosher to talk about at some point. But good that we've got her number. Mm-hmm. So hey, there we go.
The end of that panel will be the three of us knocked unconscious and her holding up a broken folding chair yelling, "Come at me, bro!"
Right.
If we've done our job right, yes.
Going to be a good show.
Or just taking the cash out of our wallets. Possibly both.
That's not going to take long.
No, it's quick.
I got $2.
That's quick. But anyways, I will be I'm depending on how much beachhead shopping I get done before Saturday at 4 p.m. I guess. Mm-hmm. But watch for this coming in the normal media outlet soon. I managed to get the JoeFest folks to hold off on breaking this until I broke it tonight. So
You broke it, Mike. You broke it.
that's right.
I
Well-
have $350 in my wallet, but I'm saving that for the Loch Ness Monster just to tease him.
Nice.
Anyways, I'm not going into that. That's a whole other half hour. But that's community calendar for you. That's all we got today this week, kids. Bart asks, will we have free kids at the panel? Depends how well they behave. Mark, you're not bringing your kids, are you?
I will have no kids.
All right, so no, there's no chance then, because Rob and I, no kids.
Maybe a dog.
Well,
Yeah, duh.
I mean, you really want to?
Coupon.
You really want to? You want to travel with that dog?
One? No, it'd be a coupon. One free dog. Just give me your address.
Shows up in an Amazon box with one hole drilled in it.
Free with purchase of Slaughter's Marauders Beachhead
Ready?
barbecue.
Ready for my magic trick? What's this?
Uh-oh, Mrs. Weber's in the house.
Go Devils, go!
Lava bears.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
All right. She's what happened there? She dropped something?
No, she's headed up. She gets
All right.
up earlier than me, so
All right,
plus
fair enough.
our podcast puts her to sleep. So there
That's
we go.
fair enough.
Mm.
That's fair enough.
Yep.
I mean, there's weeks it barely keeps me awake.
Right.
So, anyways, that's it for community calendar.
My God, it's full of stars.
Mhm. All these worlds are yours except Io.
Right. Oh shoot! What a night! What a night! We're an hour in and we're just getting to the news. I'm sure there's a segment of our population that is not at all happy with us tonight. But
And there's a segment of people who tune in right at 10 to see the news kick off.
right, and
Yeah.
sometimes we make them wait. So.
Mhm.
Anyways, if you're catching us tonight on the Facebook, be sure to give us some kind of a reaction. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a heart. Give us a little huggy guy. We do love little huggy guy. Just leave a comment. Do whatever you need to do to make the algorithms work in our favor. If you're catching us on the YouTube, thank you. That's where you can really help us the most. Be sure to go down below. You know, I used to worry about what corner to point in, but since they redesigned it, it's all kind of just in the middle part. So give us a thumbs up and give us, most importantly, a subscription. If you've got a few bucks laying around, be sure to hit up our coffee link down in the description below. Remember, $1 a month gets you in our closing credits. At some point, we'll figure out other tiers and what they do. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of hiding content from people that want to see us. So I don't know what fruit is going to come of that branch. But what can I tell you?
Yeah.
If I'm going to put together the effort to put something together, I want people to see it, and I don't, it's not right to make you pay for something that I have no skill at doing.
Sign up for our Patreon, and you'll have access to all the regular stuff.
Our coffee. It's our coffee account. We don't have a Patreon.
Whatever. We'll get there.
No, we don't want them. Coffee. If you donate to our coffee, we are getting all of the money that they send to us. There's no percentages. It's a good deal. We pay coffee $6 a month. So yeah, good times. After researching it, Joe Colton and I determined that is the one that actually gave us the most bang for our donation buck.
And once we stopped sending her cut, our money went through the
Right,
roof.
way up.
Yeah. If you want to
pay.
pay Ringo less, that's up to you.
This is what happens when you make your deal on the net, not the gross.
Look, her coffee account is listed down below too. So if you were looking to see more of Joe Colton's cosplay projects, by all means, that one's down there for you as well.
I held out for the merchandising.
Where the
Right.
real money from the movie is made.
Rob's the new guy. I managed to sell him on points.
Boy,
You got to figure that Colton and Habanero are going to do a Bitch and Krang, or is it Quang cosplay?
No,
Who's the
Quang.
turtle
Yeah, Kwang was the ninja from mid-90s WWE.
And who was he really?
Krang is the guy with the brain in his stomach.
Who was
Kwang
Papa
the ninja
Shango?
was Savio Vega.
Oh, okay, there we go. I just assumed it was Papa Shango because he was everybody.
Right. I mean, the Sultan was Rikishi. Kwang the ninja was Savio Vega. Those are the two that I get confused sometimes.
And the executioner was Terry Gordy.
Yeah, I was about to say Bam Bam Terry Gordy. Yeah.
At the very end.
But Bart asks, has the swear jar suffered with Joe gone? Not really. No, we have 18 subscribers. You'll see their names at the end of the program.
Mm-hmm.
We do okay. We managed to cover our expenses kind of in terms of StreamYard and all that other good stuff. We don't pay for coffee, but we pay for a lot of other stuff. So it can, you know, that's kind of how that goes. Anywho, it's time for the news. First news item.
Doo-doo. It's enough.
All right. I just wanted.
That's it, Mike.
I didn't know if you were gonna kick in there again. I was kind of reading your face to see if you're just waiting for me to start talking.
Boom.
Keep,
Boom.
you know. Anyways, first up, we're coming in the home stretch. Heavy Armor Toys joined the Navy, or rather, Heavy Armor Toys in the Navy backer kit is open through the end of the month on May 31st. Existing orders can't be changed or canceled. You're only able to order new items, but that's fine. They've got everything that was unlocked during their Kickstarter last year. That is in the Navy Action Figures backer kit, all hyphenated.com. If you need that address, just pause the video here and jot it down and move on afterwards. But it's there for you. I actually went and re-upped for a couple more figures earlier this week. So it's there for you through May 31st. Prices are pretty well right on what they were for the Kickstarter. They're $20, $21 a pop. It's plenty of good work from our friends at Heavy Armor Toys. Good for 3 more days. Phil, you going to get some more?
No, I am capped at the moment.
Oh, Phil.
Just disappointment all tonight. I know.
Phil, my God, just lie to me on one. So earnest and honest and truthful. It's nauseating, Phil. It's terrible.
You knew what you were getting.
Even after that big price cut on the Disney season pass.
You think they would do that?
Big price. So they're only raising it $60.
That's it. Plus fees.
Yeah, so that's it. Heavy Armor Toys right there. Next news item.
Dude.
Hey, 3DJoes.com needs you. And that is one earnest but not angry looking Duke.
He stole Kirk Douglas's chin.
Right, explaining
Yes,
his
he
needs. That is a pronounced butt chin.
Mm-hmm.
Pronounced.
He looks a little nervous, like he knows he's ripping off my gimmick.
Well, you've gone full Odo. You smoothed out all your facial features, right?
That's true. I like to thank Duke for wearing his American flag backwards.
Yeah, that is not correct on that sleeve, but you know, it'll be all right.
It never was back in the day.
That doesn't mean it's okay, Rob.
I know, but that's how they did it.
He's just being consistent.
Or maybe he's a retreat machine.
Maybe he's the guy facing the backwards way in the slam. Maybe that's it.
Duke is such a badass. He runs towards danger backwards.
He's the guy in the sled on the back of the Havoc, so he's going that way.
Cobra.
It's a wind-aided advance. It's just
right. He's got to lead everybody, so he's pointing over his shoulder while he's going. Anyways, I don't know.
I'll take that. That's fair.
He's pointing over hill and over.
Moving on.
3D Joes needs you, and this is from the website. 3djoes.com is dedicated to preserving the rich history of G.I. Joe, a real American hero. It was created by fans for fans. We've developed some amazing books and discs to help fund our mission. Please check them out if you haven't already. You can also subscribe to our email list. You'll be among the first to know about upcoming projects. Every email we send costs us money, so we promise we will not send many. And when we do send one, it'll be exciting. If you love the free creator profiles on 3D Joe's and want to hear the history of G.I. Joe American Heroes straight from the folks that made it, check out the all-new 3D Joe's videos channel. We've launched with 10 all-new videos and 2 remastered videos. All videos feature multi-camera setups, tons of music and graphics. They're professional closed caption for your viewing pleasure. Many more videos are to come. Your subscription will help offset the cost of traveling to film with these legendary creators. Continuing on, finally, you can donate to 3D Joe's to 1, offset the costs of running a free ad-free website, and 2, help fund future development. Thank you for helping us document the world's greatest toy line and the folks that brought it to life. You can enroll in the 3D Joe's Army, sign up for the email list to be the first to know about upcoming projects, subscribe to the 3D Joe's video channel for mind-blowing creator-focused videos, and of course, donate to fund the future development of 3djoes.com. With your help, we can continue the mission of documenting and preserving the world's greatest toy line and the folks that brought it to life. And those are the words straight from Carson off of 3djoes.com. So it's right there for you. Be sure to check out 3djoes.com to get all the specifics. I think the videos channel is $7.99 a month, which is, I mean, it's a little steep for what you're getting, but Carson's basically one guy and some part-time help. So it's absolutely worth it if you're interested in this sort of thing. They can't all be Netflix with their bulk pricing. And of course, if you've got just say you want to donate $5-10, that's there for you too. That option is there. Again, it's all right on 3djoes.com.
I mean,
Cart-
nobody's doing more, right, to preserve the history of the modern G.I. Joe line than Carson.
Right, and he doesn't produce videos like we produce videos. Mm-hmm. I'm a hack with some Mac software. He is an Emmy award-winning film producer. So, like, this is real professional stuff. This is not, some schmo with a YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. This is real, actual, honest-to-God content. Former host of What's on Joe Mind, I might add. Mm-hmm. But we had to clear him out to get Mark in.
Right, and the show suffers for his absence, but viewership with the ladies has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
I thought that was because we had Phil.
Hey, I could grow a beard if I wanted to.
Phil is here to help.
On the face does not count.
Phil is here to help curtail that.
Oh,
look at that! Edwin Diaz blew another save.
Right. I don't think they're even putting him in to get saves anymore. So,
they're putting him in. He just ain't getting them.
It's not going well. It's not. Anyways, so again, 3D Joe's needs you. If you got a few bucks laying around, or if you've got say $8 a month to subscribe and get enormously informative G.I. Joe video content, we got a good place for you. Head over to 3djoes.com. Click those donate buttons today. Next news item. I gotta skip ahead a couple. Okay, here we go. Again, Entertainment Earth's Drop Zone. That is happening June 4th. We will get what is undoubtedly a G.I. Joe reveal. I imagine we'll know something about it before Tuesday, June 4th, but probably not before we do a show again. Anyways, again, with June 4th, we will have a special guest. We will undoubtedly have tons of news from whatever it is that Entertainment Earth is going live on their site for pre-orders. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be good stuff. We'll let you know all about. Did I tell everybody who the guest was, or did I just tell you guys?
Our guest?
Well, I don't know.
All right. So no, I guess I didn't tell the world at large. I just told you guys, and you guys weren't listening. So that's standard.
I was listening. I just forgot.
I remember.
I got a lot going on here.
That's not what you asked. You didn't ask who the guest was. You asked if you told the world, and I didn't remember.
I got comatose kids on the couch.
Fair enough. Cheapest Big Spender says, when I play that clip, I think Don Rickles is going to show up.
to harass you.
That would be awesome, frankly. If I had the ability to just have Don Rickles' ghost appear over my shoulder, I would do it every
the ghost of Don Rickles.
every freaking week.
Could you imagine Don Rickles as a Force ghost as our fourth host? That'd be freaking phenomenal.
Right? Phil would be gone instantly.
I think we'd be called hockey pucks.
I most likely, yes. Most likely.
Wouldn't it be awesome if the figure actually is Drop Zone? That would
Deep
suck.
pull there.
That would suck so bad.
It really would. or people would blame us if it was Countdown, right? After
Right.
the terrible pun I put in the thumbnail this week. They'd be mad at me if it was Countdown.
New to G.I. Joe Classified, it's effects.
Oh,
I'm
In a
still holding
two-pack.
out for Robo Joe.
In a 2-pack with gears.
Right.
oh.
Anyhow, we need to stop talking about stuff like that because it'll come true.
Yeah.
Gonna
I have a
manifest
feeling-
it.
So somebody's going to be watching this and be like, "What? I love gears." And I mean, if that's what you love, then that's what you love. But
We will probably get both of those guys before we get their second brand new character.
Ice
So the
cream soldier.
Wolf Spider
Ice
will be
cream
waving
soldier.
that lonely flag as the new kid in class.
oh, come on now, Crimson Bat.
Mole rats.
No. Oh, okay, I'll give you Mole Rats. That's fair.
Yeah.
But
Arctic Bat was new,
Crimson
no, he
Bat.
wasn't. He was a bat colored a different color.
He was.
but we hadn't gotten him in that color before.
No, we did get a polar bat back in the 4-inch run. It came with Snow Job and those things that everybody bought 86 of. It was part of your run with the Toys R Us stuff, Mark.
I think that was. It came out when I was on the brand, but I didn't make it. That was done way.
Okay.
way ahead.
But it
So
was there.
I can't take credit for it. If I had done it, the polar bat would have come with another troop builder, so everybody didn't have 50 Snow Jobs.
But would have been a bat.
All
with,
be crazy.
yeah, bats in different colored pants don't actually count.
No.
So Phil,
Brand new character coming out this fall. It's the Arctic Bat. Come on.
Phil, as a man who has much knowledge, and who I turn to for factual checks at every opportunity, I spend most episodes trying to tell him how wrong he is. It's
And
it's
succeeding.
part of the tangled webs we weave.
That's just as a senility setting in.
Right, Matt Rubin wouldn't mind classified countdown. Look, I get you. He's pretty cool. I have, since I got him for the first time, I have developed something of an affectation for him. He's a fun little dude to have. But I got some other guys who I want to see in classified first.
Isn't he the guy with the grappling hook?
Yeah,
How does that work in space?
I don't know.
I get that it'll shoot forever. That's not my point.
Right,
Doesn't a grappling hook have to like wrap around something?
you would
It might be
think. yes.
magnetic. Just
How's
clamp
that
onto
bad?
a hole.
Oh,
Mark, I can't explain the grappling hook. I'm just saying that I dig his little Jetsons backpack
man.
and his full head hood and all that. I just dig him.
He's not terrible.
No, he's all right.
And this little pew pew gun.
Right.
Andrew Galgan is asking if there's any update on the Mad Marauders 2-pack. Not that I've heard.
Here's
They're
an
still
update.
mad.
Here's
Right.
an update. Here's an update. I'm only keeping one of them.
They are still angry, but
Yeah.
no, haven't heard anything new about them.
They're quite mad.
But yeah, so that's coming up. So stay tuned. I'm sure the lovely folks at Hasbro will have something for us in the very near future. I imagine as soon as June 1st, when Yojo June gets underway officially. What day is the first, Rob? Is that Saturday?
It's the first day of June.
I believe so. Let me double check it.
Yeah,
I think
it's Saturday.
Right.
So if it's
Yes.
Saturday, maybe Friday, maybe May 31st will be when they break some of this stuff. But because they ain't coming in on Saturday morning to do that.
Oh, Andrew Gogan might be my tag team partner on this 2-pack split.
Is Spirit the keeper for you?
100%, and the renamed Bird and Low Light, because that color scheme is weaker than the original, is going to a new home somewhere.
Will you sign it? Is the question.
I might. I'll probably take the spirit out of the package and send old low lad along in the box, right?
Right, and sign
Or-
the empty half.
Or I'll just put old headless Captain America in there and return it wherever I bought it. Matter of fact, is that a Target exclusive? Because they deserve that.
I mean, it's I don't know actually, because
Ooh, wait a minute. Look at this. Because I like Captain America and having headless Cap is a good gag. Maybe they get headless Baron Mordo. Ooh.
Ooh.
Fancy.
that
Right?
now that's a pack in. That's
Here's a spoiler, folks. Cover your ears if you don't want it spoiled. Marvel Phase 5, right here. The Headless Games.
what are those guys called, Rob?
The
Like
mindless ones?
Yeah, the ones like the one that has the orb and it's got the chick with the red thing. Is that a DC bunch or is that?
Oh,
a
the
Marvel?
Headmen. Yeah. No, they're Marvel. They fought
Okay.
the Defenders.
Awesome.
I thought they fought the Drug Enforcement Force or something.
Not
The
those
Headmen.
Headmen. Look, they got a guy who grafted his human head onto the body of a gorilla.
Look, that makes them cool.
What did he do with the gorilla head?
And when he
Wouldn't you like
agrees with you, he's Gorilla Nod. Deep cut.
Next news item.
Although we got to let that stink get out of here for a second.
Right.
Okay.
Right, that's why we called for next news item. Figured the Doots would help push it on out.
Yeah, it was a good call.
It's
And
oh, hey, look at that, guys. It's almost like we got a Kickstarter update, and I've got a specific bump for that I can't find. There it is. Go. Started earlier today. It's Skybound's G.I. Joe Compendium Kickstarter. There was a $50,000 goal on this that was passed in 6 minutes. It is open now until June 29th. I did not manage to put the date in the card because every so often I forget to do things. But it is live. It is funded and then some. We're going to turn to Racktime Rob in a second to get totals and stretch goals. But yeah, you can pledge with confidence here. It's going to happen. What's shocking to me, guys, and take a few minutes to chime in on this. We're gonna actually get serious for a minute. It's always shocking to me, not that G.I. Joe projects fund. It's the general sense of shock and awe when it happens, right? Like G.I. Joe is this cute little thing that nobody really messed with back in the day, and nobody has any attachment to it. And oh, aren't they adorable? We'll throw a little project their way and we'll see if maybe they can get it done. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, look at all this response for G.I. Joe. It's almost like it was good stuff. And like, when do we get tired of this reaction from the comic community at large, or the toy community at large, or the cartoon community at large? It blows my mind. And, I'll let you guys have a minute to kind of toss that one around. It's I want to give that its moment of discussion, to where we can maybe turn this into a plea of, hey, quit ignoring us in favor of robots, and give us a cool animated series project, or maybe some PR for your great comic books. But Mark, we'll start with you as the guy who used to, it used to be your job to fight that fight.
yeah. I mean, and it's not apples to apples, and I realize they have a gigantic purchase price to try to pay off, but how many giant budget, boring, kind of lame Star Wars things are we going to see in a row, right?
Right.
Before anybody actually activates G.I. Joe in a way that's meaningful. And you could do it. There's any number of ways you could do it. You could do a feature film that was actually good. You could do a Netflix series that was darker. Everybody talks about how The Last Laugh should be a Netflix series. And it wouldn't even be that expensive because most of it happens in hallways, right? and or do something that's actually kid-focused animation that doesn't pander, and that adults would lap up to. There's any number of ways you could do it, but that was one of the first things I did at Hasbro was at their idea fair was pitch a very tight, very smart animation reboot, and everybody said they loved it, and it got no votes in the end. And Eric Nyman, who was running Boys Toys at the time, I think saw the new guy a little crestfallen and said to me, "Your pitch was fantastic, but they're not greenlighting Joe Animation right now. Just like they're just not. No matter the idea, right? Dead on arrival." And
right. I fail to understand that because, what we keep hearing in this current economy where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer is that they're trying to find new ways to make money. And it seems like this is one that's slapping them in the face like so much fish at a market.
Well,
and they don't want to do it.
And with now, granted, if you just don't want to be a toy company anymore, that's a different argument. But with the Marvel and Star Wars licenses coming up at some point, and those properties not being nearly as hot as they were 2, 3, 4 years ago, and those lines getting more and more. No, I'm not ripping on the creators. The rip here is that those properties have been owned for so long that you have to dig deep to come up with anything new.
Right.
Unless Marvel is creating fantastic new characters, you're stuck picking through their library. And it's a big sandbox, but they've been mining it for a long, long time. So, and there's a gigantic royalty attached to those toys that make them hard to be profitable.
Right.
And yet here you have this absolutely enduring legacy line that saved the company before twice.
Maybe 3 times, but definitely twice.
Maybe 3, whose toy line has been doing a really good job and has been selling without any backup at all, other than a terrible movie that everyone hated. So
right. If you go across the wider YouTube universe, I can't tell you the number of channels that had videos go across my feed calling G.I. Joe
Snake Eyes.
No, the figure line.
Classified.
Thank you. My God, I'm tired. Calling G.I. Joe Classified their toy line of the year, right? With everything else that's out there, with all of the indie darlings, with all of the big ticket stuff that Hasbro would prefer to make, everything Mattel's doing with Masters, G.I. Joe Classified was toy line of the year pretty well across the board. Everybody that even bothers to entertain G.I. Joe as a property said that these things are not getting knocked out of the park. And still nothing besides that. Nothing. Rack Time Rob, you got any thoughts?
Nothing. I mean, I'm seeing some comments that, like basically coastal elites versus middle America, and I don't think that's got anything to do with it.
Nah.
Because I grew up on one of those coasts playing with G.I. Joe, so
right. Phil is sitting on one right now. Mark is sitting on the other. So
yeah.
This is not a regional thing. They didn't only.
No, it's not a regional thing. So don't make it that.
They didn't only sell G.I. Joe in the Midwest back in the day.
Yeah. And I can guarantee you, it's actually harder to find G.I. Joes here than it is in the Midwest.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Moving on.
From a comic standpoint, it's it's always been a tough sell because it was a licensed property. And licensed properties traditionally, were basically, they were there for make a quick buck. Nothing, was going to stand behind it very much because, a year or two, these toys are gone. And Joe was unique in the fact that, there was a creative team that worked really hard on the comic book. It happened to come out at a time where Marvel was, despite having licenses, for like things like Micronauts and ROM, actually tried to do something with them. And those things endured far beyond the toy line. And G.I. Joe had a toy line that endured while this comic was going on. So, in large part, it endured because the comic book was going on. They kind of fed into each other. But yet you ask comic people, from kids who read comics in the 80s, people will still talk about, hey, G.I. Joe 21, that silent issue blew my mind, stuff like that.
Right. When Josh was on talking about his project for G.I. Joe number 21, I mean, he made the point, we pretty well agreed hands down without conversation that it's one of the top 100 single issues of any book in comic book history, right? And I don't think that's stretching things out. You think about how many single issue of books have been published over the years, and the fact that there's an issue of G.I. Joe in there speaks very highly of G.I. Joe as a comic property. Phil, you got anything that... I'm sorry, Rob, but let's get some thoughts from Phil real quick.
Okay.
See, we actually do value Phil. He's not just here for us to dump on.
I always like to point out how G.I. Joe was a #1 selling comic book back in the 80s. And people always say, well, yeah, but not anymore. But it's like the people who bought it in the 80s are still around. They still know that brand name. They might not actively be buying anymore, but it's still in their consciousness. It's still in their minds. And like, I can't tell you how many people I've found who are toy collectors who are surprised that they're still making G.I. Joes. It's like you're missing your target audience because you're not doing anything to promote the toy line exists. And you forget, like, Rise of Cobra was not a great movie. I don't think there's going to be much argument on that, me saying that. It still made that $300 million mark.
Right.
And like, if it had been a good movie, you would have had an enduring franchise. G.I. Joe Renegades. The ratings on that were actually pretty good for the hub. But they canceled the show before it even aired an episode. It
was their second highest rated show, trailing only My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And the first year it was on, they did a Memorial Day marathon. And it was from what I understand, the highest rated event in the hub's history. That's a G.I. Joe.
Do you know how much of Transformers fandom is filled with Transformers Prime fans these days? Imagine if Renegades had gotten their full 3 seasons like Prime had.
Right.
It's just a history of Hasbro shooting themselves in the foot by making bad decisions with the brand and like not knowing what to do with one of their flagships.
Right. It's always just gets treated as second best. And I know that has nothing to do with this Kickstarter. But it passed the point that I think this Kickstarter shows that it shouldn't be treated as second best. And so
that's the point I'm trying to make is
right.
There are the fans out there. You just got to actually appeal to them.
do stuff for them. They might actually pick it up because we seem to do it every single time. Cobra Mothership notwithstanding.
The fact that you have so many licensees who are actually wanting and actively searching out this brand should also be a hint to you that people out there like G.I. Joe.
Yeah. And I forget the terminology for it, but Hasbro had a name for their core brands, right? And then they had names for the tiers below.
Developing brands.
And Joe was always like a challenger brand or something like that. And that was my goal when I got tabbed to jump on the Joe team, was to get Joe up there on that top shelf where it belonged. And I didn't get there. It might be there now, given how many of their brands they're just farming out. Right.
Right. Yeah. It's tough to really say because we see the success of Classified. And so it's hard to gauge that one prong of success.
Franchise and partner brands, challenger brands, and new brands.
There you go. Yeah, and what do you call a brand that you drop like 500 million to acquire, and now you're farming out to another company to make? Call that Power Rangers.
Right. Right.
Or Mattel showed off, I couldn't believe this, a transforming Matchbox Optimus Prime last week. He's 3 inches tall. He costs $80. And you could buy 3, limited 3, and they sold out for a first day for sure. I don't know how many hours it took, but like
it was fast.
Remember when Mattel was making Transformers? Isn't that weird to anybody else?
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Matchbox, Hot Wheel, whatever. They ain't paying my salary.
Right.
It's a
Same
Hot Wheels.
company now.
Dave McDonald notes that G.I. Joe is doing better than Gem, at least. I mean, low bar. Surveillance port, rather, with the it was Hot Wheels, you sinner.
Whatever. It's still the same guys bumping kids out of their way to look for treasure hunts.
Right. Oh my God. Someday we're gonna just have an episode where Mike talks about his Hot Wheels guys' experiences when he worked at Target, and
they're the worst, right?
they are the absolute
They're
worst.
the worst. Yeah.
They're always the ones there at opening.
So, well before, in fact, yeah, we used to recognize their cars. Anyways, don't want to go down that road tonight. Negativity done. Let's move into the Kickstarter. Rack Time Rob. Where's this bad boy sitting right now?
All right. Currently, with a goal of 50 grand. Oh, God, it just went up again. $852,701.
So you're saying it got that famous "What's on Joe Mind" push?
Right.
Yeah.
We mentioned it 2 weeks ago for a minute, so right up the charts.
Boom! You're welcome.
2,341 backers.
And again, the buy-in on this, if you are just getting the compendium books on their own, one set, $300. So no small purchase. Phil, you signed up for yours yet?
I did, yes.
Well, the $300 gets you all four.
Right. But I'm just saying one set of books, $300.
You can get like just the first compendium for.
Yeah, but why would you do
after what happened with
for about
IDW and their hardcover releases, let's just get it out of the way.
Right. Why would you just get one volume of a 4-volume set when you can't get the other volumes individually? That's nonsense. If you're in for a penny, be in for a pound.
Well, maybe you don't have the whole pound, so. I'm just saying, basically, if you don't have the $300 lying around, which a lot of people don't, there are other ways to get, a pledge.
Right. I mean, there's other.
Including
They are releasing the soft covers, and there are PDFs and et cetera. Surveillance Port notes that what's the big deal? That's only 1,700% of its initial goal. Yeah, no big thing. Larry Hama was doing those cool autographed placards that went out with the first 500. Good Lord, that had
Those
to
are
be
sold out.
Yeah. Oh, long since. If you said 2,400 plus, then yeah, he only did 500. We don't want the man's hand to fall off. He's got to type with that hand.
Mm-hmm.
But Mark Webber, you in yet?
I am not. And this is I love it, and I love that it's doing so well. But this exact kind of project just never does anything for me because I have all of these, right? Like secret bonuses and stuff. I'm sure they'll be creative and fun and interesting, but I got these, and I kind of like single issues. So I'm good, but do not read that as me being down on the project or negative about it. I think it's fantastic. For people who don't have it, for it to be one-stop shopping, newly printed and gorgeous, good on you, right? And anything that's good for the brand is good for all of us. So I'm thrilled to see it kicking ass, but it isn't something I need.
See, I'm more the other way. I'm probably going to be in on this so I can get rid of those single issues and stop caretaking 40-year-old pieces of paper. Like I'm okay with letting the single issues go at this point because I start to freak out because I don't want to get thumbprints on them or things like, I'm turning into that guy with my old comics. So I'm much more likely to be enthused about this than I am about trying to hunt down single issues to complete my run that way.
That's fair.
It's $300 is a discount if you put together what I would need to spend to finish my run of comics.
Oh yeah.
On the other end. But that said, not yet. Haven't even gotten to it yet. I wasn't even awake at 9 a.m. today, so I work overnight. So I'm not.
Remember that Mike's a vampire.
Yeah, 9 a.m. is a fictional time. What most people think about 4 a.m. That's just the middle of my day. 9 a.m. does not exist. But that's my thoughts there. But rest assured, once I figure out what my budget is for this month and next, I will probably just get this taken care of. It's just a matter of figuring out how it's going to get paid for and where and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, congratulations to everybody at Skybound for getting this one done. I think they were surprised by the overwhelming success of it as well, for some reason. I think the fact that it's a Kickstarter project says that they weren't sure that they were going to move enough of this. But again, not surprised. Not surprised. Moving forward, next news item. I mean, I guess we could close that up with get yourself over to Kickstarter, check it out. They've got all kinds of stretch goals and stuff unlocked already too. So you're not just getting the books, you're getting some extras. We'll let you peruse that on your own.
They need your help. Man, not really.
Not really, no, but it's fun to pile on a winner.
Yeah, let's keep beating that drum so more people notice.
So I'm sorry, Mark. Next news item.
Wait for it. You're not getting it.
No.
Nope.
I just heard the clicks. I can tell you're hitting a button, but I don't know what that button is doing.
I'm trying to play the Wham music, but it doesn't work.
I don't want to get demonetized. So
how did you disable my keyboard? That's ridiculous.
But anywho, coming up from Skybound, June 5th, we see the beginning of the Scarlet miniseries and the Duke trade paperback is released both on that day. June 12th, we see Transformers 9, and then June 19th, Cobra Commander trade paperback, and I think the Destro book is June 19th as well. But they don't have it on their calendar yet, so I didn't want to put that out there.
I know they said it was a June release.
Right, and I think we even reported it as June 19th from the Destro press release, but I couldn't find that right away, so I'm not worrying about it. It's going to be at least June 19th. But Scarlet and Duke are the next ones you got to worry. Scarlet 1, and if you're in on the Duke trade, that's June 5th, and that's it for Skybound bits.
I got a Duke nitpick because I was looking over, I think it was issue 3. When I was a kid, Major Blood had that cool rocket. The first Major Blood had that cool rocket pistol, right?
Right.
I always put that in his robot right hand.
Right.
Because it was, you couldn't articulate the elbow and it was in firing position. So I just assumed he was right-handed. And I liked the idea that if the rocket actually fired, it wouldn't bother that robot arm that it was burning as it fired, right?
Same.
So I'm a nerd that way. Scarlet is a good example of someone who's right-handed. I always thought that Blood used his right arm, because why wouldn't you use the robot arm unless you're petting a dog or something, right? So in the Duke book, and this is a couple issues ago, so I'm not spoiling anything, he gets the drop on Duke and just waffles him in the back of the head, right?
Right.
With his left hand. If you're going to clean a guy's clock and you happen to have a robot arm, maybe hit him with the metal arm.
Maybe he doesn't want him dead, though.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the best line is he's only trying to incapacitate him, right?
Right. Because
but I mean, if I have on that head, dude, if I have a robot fist, that's all I'm hitting people with.
Right. I'm not even going to have an excuse to hit people. I'm just going to be hitting people with it going, hey, look at my robot fist. Oh, there's the man.
It's like I have a lemur next to me.
Right. Hey. I would call it a shark fin, but it extends the entire length of your screen.
He had a tough day. So
right. We're just gonna let Colin walk on by, and
he can do what he likes.
If you want to give him a pet or two and just a chin up kind of a surgeons there. What is it? A surgeons? If you want to give him just a chin up assurance there,
right?
Maybe that.
Who's a good cat?
He clearly comes to you for the ups. He likes you best.
He's like, Pop, I had a bad day.
Help me out here.
Right. As you were.
Oh,
look at that.
Wrong button. There we go. Let's get our boy Colin some camera time.
Poor guy.
There we go. He's had a rough day. Look at him. He looks sad. He looks a little worn out.
He's like, if they'd sent 4, I would have got him, but they sent 5. I'll get him next time. I promise you that.
He just feels a little dejected. Feels a little like somehow he's lost his peak. He's not 3 anymore, so his skills are starting to fade.
It's like when they broke Wolverine's bone claws. Oh, yeah.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah. And yeah, obviously I'm a cat guy. And if you're not, or you think that's lame, yeah. Don't have to pay the swear jar for that.
Right. I think our live crowd is past the point of making fun of you for being a cat guy, Mark. I don't think you're surprising a whole lot of the regulars anymore.
Yeah, when Mrs. Weber came home and half an hour into the show, do you remember hearing the cat go nuts? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
Looks like Destro is June 19th.
Yeah, again, I was pretty confident, but I didn't have it in front of me to confirm it right there, so I just didn't worry about it. Lord knows there's... Go ahead, Mark.
Destro will fire rockets off both his wrists because he don't care, man, right? He's amphibious. No, wait, he's only got him on one, right?
Just the one.
On the other.
Yeah, grenades on the other.
Because Destro has the toughest forearms ever, apparently.
Derek Holloman says that's a good-looking cat. I mean, that's a moose is what that is.
He's the guy, right?
That's a small house moose. Oh, now you're going to put him on camera. He's going to leave.
I don't want to make this hard for you, Colin, but yeah, who's a big guy with these giant paws? I mean, come on.
His giant feet.
He's a good cat.
His feetses. He's not a super huggy guy. He just has boundaries, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lynx.
Andrew Galligan, he's amphibious.
Yeah. That'd be funnier if you didn't spell my friggin' name wrong. Ban him! Ban him!
I won't. I won't even give him 5 minutes on that.
Probably spells Irizarry right. Get the R's right, but not the B's.
Nobody spells Irizarry right, Mark. Nobody.
No respect.
Not even Mike.
I did screw it up the other day. I was at the doctor's office. I did write it down wrong.
Oh. You can't misspell your own name, Mike.
I did, man. I did.
Oh, God.
I wasn't paying attention. I actually put too many A's in it.
It was airy.
It was I was like,
No, I took it the other way. I thought you spelled it Arizari. That'd be awesome.
No, it was Iriza, and then I answered a question from the nurse at the desk, and then went back to writing and just started writing an A again, and so there were a couple A's in there. So now there's some form in my medical file where I'm misspelling my own name. But
I made a note about that.
Yeah, I'm sure that I'm well thought of in that podiatry office.
Colin has decided the mic doesn't smell enough like him.
It's his microphone. He wants on next week.
There he is.
But next news item. Hey, that's the last news item.
Hey.
Remember to tune into the G.I. Joe 3D printing podcast for all your Chonky Tank Kitty news, should there be any in the future, and I hope there's some. I don't know what their release schedule is, so they just seem to kind of do one when they can do one. But remember, these are the guys who are behind the Staff Sergeant C-Nugs in action figure, so be sure to give them some support when you get the chance. And that's the news. We'll be right back after a quick word.
That was a quick word.
I got ahead of myself.
We'll be back. A word there.
We'll be back after a quick word from our friends and lovely sponsors at Cooko Toys.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on. All
right. And Colin's still with us. I I know we were talking a little bit before the show, which is of no value to the people watching us at home or listening to us afterwards. But knowing it's been kind of a slow couple of weeks for what we got in, we'll turn to Phil because we didn't get to him. Phil, you got anything in recently?
I did, yes. First off,
is it something cool or is it something weird and pervy that we're not going to know about?
Come on.
Little column A, little column B.
All right.
All right. Those are the best ones.
So we're ready.
All right. First off is a comic bomb issue from November of 1986 because it has G.I. Joe in it. And as you can see, yes, some kid did draw on there the Tatsumu Musashi character. But, you got to take what you can get. And this is the first one I have found in 5 years of looking that actually got to me. So this completes my comic bomb run. So I have all of the G.I. Joe ones now. And that took way too long to get. But I'm still not done because there's still TV magazines to go.
Yeah.
So Skybound's not doing a bomb compendium.
Well, now that I have all of them to show them, maybe we can get the ball rolling in that area.
The compendium bomb.
I think most of it all is that people don't know this stuff exists.
Right. It just sold out. The Kickstarter is fully funded.
It's already funded. Yeah, it's look, folks, I can't tell you. We make fun of Phil a lot on this show because why wouldn't you? But in all seriousness, Phil is a fountain of G.I. Joe knowledge. He is absolutely one of the guys that a lot of us who have been in the community for a long time turn to for deep knowledge on obscure topics. You're doing yourself a great misservice if you are not tuning into Articulated Points. If you love toy history, Articulated Points is one of those shows you need to be watching.
And we'll have a video out this week that should be pretty cool.
Hosted by Phil and other font of great knowledge, Patrick Stewart. The guy from Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
No, not that guy.
I thought it was that guy.
It's not Picard. No.
Oh, I thought it was just Picard.
Make it so.
Nor Xavier.
All right. I thought it was just Picard.
No, not
Okay.
quite.
I'm sure he loves that gag.
Isn't it that Picard?
It's not Picard.
Okay, all right.
It's Deputy Director Bullock.
Right. But all right, so Colin showing off again.
Yeah. Give it me. I've got the best view, by the way.
Right. Let's just hope he doesn't have gas. But our audio only listeners are having a great time now as we talk about the cat that they cannot see. But since we're a little short on getting stuff, I figured we do have a couple of minutes to do. The number keeps growing. Caught a couple of them. I made our quarterly pilgrimage to visit the sponsors at Cooko Toys. I try to get up there every few months, throw some donuts at Todd, so he continues to be associated with our fine program. But 157 is a pretty good one. He's got a crack on his elbow, but besides that, he's missing some gear, but he's pretty solid figure. 158 is more of that played-in feel. He's only got his backpack, but the paint on his pants is kind of strange at this point. But again, both have. He's more in the well-loved category. And then, of course, 159. Well, let's just fish him out of the box live. What do you say we do that?
Ooh, opening.
I'm gonna give myself the big box here.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the box knife out. Somebody make sure I don't cut myself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cut yourself.
I'm in the other room.
It's important.
Redial the 9-1, and if you hear a scream, then you dial the other one.
Make sure you cut towards yourself.
Yeah, I'm not a screamer, so you're gonna have to just watch for blood spray.
Oh, it's the blood.
The Dickens out of my finger.
It's the bloody variant. Brr.
I know it makes Diana Davis nervous when I'm busting out the knife.
It's okay. She had to bounce already.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Put the knife down.
I am apparently a loose, random renegade with a box knife. So make sure I'm not missing the gear there. But there he is, 159.
Ooh.
Let him out. You can't breathe in there, Mike.
We're getting there. We're getting there. He is more of the really nice example. At the nice complete, or I should say still whole ammo strap. It's got the original or a light gray machine gun. Got his backpack, which I won't bother showing off because those things are a dime a dozen. And yeah, he's real solid. He's got good joints and great paint.
Full crotch.
Fully becrotched.
Ooh.
He's
not faking the crotch, bro, but he's there.
Mean, yeah, that one does appear to be cut a little thin. But you know, as they say, it's not size, it's technique. Is that what they say? I don't know.
That's what some guys say.
Right. That's all.
It ain't the size of the boat; it's the motion of the ocean.
Oh! But he's right there. 159 is a good one, folks. It's a good number in the collection. And as always, not purchased for nearly what people are asking for on eBay these days. It's crazy. It's nuts out there. Oh Lord. So give me a minute.
You got to cut back to me because I got one more thing to show off, though.
Hit the live chats real quick. There we go. Hoping for April Fool's Day 2025. Mike does this segment, comes up a 0, having sold them all off.
Aren't we on the record, though, as saying April Fool's Day gags suck?
Yeah, but you know, something that innocuous, that's okay. You know, again, huge pranks. Yeah, they're awful.
Yeah, April Fool's Day, the day when everyone believes they should try comedy for the first time.
Right. Right. Phil, I'm going to give you the big window.
All right.
Don't you disappoint me.
So, you'll notice this is a Delta Trooper I picked up at the SoCal Joe show that I've added some gear to. And that
Right.
reminded me there were some figures from Valaverse that I needed to pick up. And there's a certain someone around here that we know who packs orders, and he kind of took notice.
It's Rob,
So-
right? It's Rob.
Yes.
Rob did it.
Yeah.
Last time, Rob.
I got my Valaverse figures, and I
Look at
also
that.
got a little note on the invoice. The 95 is jammed, which is that's a close but no cigar because it's the 91 by me. The 95 is by you. But
Well, whatever.
also on there was
The number 5. It's the number 5. I
Can't
can tell
we
that
just-
from here.
can't we just ship this to Disneyland? Signed Mark there. And I wish I had some sort of snarky reply, but when this package showed up on Saturday, I was actually at Disneyland.
There you go.
See, it was a valid question.
Yeah, I can't say anything about that.
Well
Free
done,
autograph.
Honcho.
I
Well
have-
done.
I don't do that a lot, but if I know the guy, absolutely. And once in a while, I'll see one like shipping to Tucson, and I'll just put an unhappy face by the word Tucson. Like, oh, I'm sorry, brother. Hope this action figure makes your life a little bit better.
Right. Hope it takes some of the sting off of Tucson.
At least it's not Detroit.
Yeah. And Ghost Thug in Boston, I'm really sorry they didn't deliver your package. Maybe try your real friggin' name next time. Ghost Thug. Who knew that Ghost Thug lives at 123 Harmon Street or whatever?
Well, I mean, if I had to take a guess, Boston would be it.
Ghost Thug.
But at least you're not bitter, Mark. That's what's important.
I'm just saying, man. Can you really email a company and go, hey, I didn't get my package? Oh, who'd we mail it to? Ghost Thug at 123 Main Street. Come on.
Right. Right. I don't understand the need to adopt such ridiculous aliases. Like, I get it if you don't want to use your real name. Like, I understand. But you know, like if one of us had just decided, well, like Joe Colton, for example, that Joe Colton is clearly not Joe Colton's real name, but she wants to protect that for her various other interests at work and what have you. So, you know, but she's not coming out there with some dumb name like Ghost Thug.
Yeah.
It's at least a name. Anyways, I'm sure that person's in the audience and is starting his blood feud with his
yeah,
anti What's on Joe Mind video, which, you know, goes out of their way to say it's us, but never actually says it's us.
Oh yeah, and do I pack orders? You bet. Do I ship toys out? You bet. Do I answer customer emails? You bet. Do I write file cards? Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Matt Rubin with the valid question: was Ghost Thug in Harmony, Pennsylvania? Yes, it was at the Crossroads. Runs right through town.
Just on the way to intercourse.
That's what she said.
With a random intercourse throwaway. I don't understand the streets. That is correct. I do not.
Really, it's more like the streets don't understand him.
Also possibly true.
I do believe street smarts is the only smarts we have on this program.
I believe in our case it's more about savvy. I think that's more. We're not so much street smart as we are just smart enough to not be on the streets most of the time.
That's fair.
It's street smarties, and that they're smarties he found on the street.
Oh, and still good if they're wrapped.
Right.
I mean, unless you left him out in the rain and then just gonna disintegrate in the package. Anyhow, we're kind of close to 2 hours. What do you say we get to pull this one into the station? Why don't we get some shout outs from Phil Donnelly?
All right. Shout out to Not Picard, Patrick Stewart, who will be giving us an episode of Articulated Points this week. It's our podcast. Mike promoted it earlier. Thank you for that.
I mean, knowing it's a Pat episode, I'll have to watch right out of the gate.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, showing off a lot of nice deep cut knowledge. And not my feeble attempts at getting you to watch an episode about Harley Quinn action figures.
Yeah, the Phil episodes, I'll let those sit 2-3 weeks at a time.
You know, as long as the number goes up at some point.
The Pat episodes, I have a special button where those I get notifications for.
I don't know how that works, but it works, right?
Get notifications for them all. It's just a Phil episode. Not this time. We got a Patrick episode coming up this week. Who else we got, Phil?
Not quite a shout out, but a call out to Mark for knowing too much about me.
that one random fact that everybody who knows you online knows.
It's becoming a meme at this point. Yeah.
Yep.
Doug Dello pledging $865,714 to the show.
Wow.
So we appreciate that, Doug.
Can I get a cut of that?
Yeah, next Tuesday we'll be back with the Doug Dello show starring
Doug
Dello.
Dello.
What's on Doug Dello's mind?
Mm-hmm.
And Phil.
It's the naming rights, yes.
Next week it's the Down Low with Doug Dello. It's going to be a great show.
Ragtime Rob, shout it out.
Shout out to the studio audience. Thanks for tuning in. Watch me shiftlessly lay about.
Right, the few of you that are left. No shout out to the kids you just sent off into the world.
They're on their own now.
That's all. That's all that can be said.
He's not taking responsibility for that.
Mark Weber.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's hit the birthday announcements, right? To proud members of the G.I. Joe community, Ben Conway of Skeletron fame. Happy birthday.
Former guest of the program.
That's right. And well, yeah, we'll give that up. And also there are a lot of birthdays, but there's only one noted author. So to James Kavanaugh, happy birthday.
Former guest host of the show.
That's right. I call him Jimmy, but you call him Sir.
I call him Jimmy Joe Jack, actually.
I call him what is it, Jimmy Jojo Jr. Shabadoo?
That's the worst name I ever
out,
heard.
That is out there as well.
Yeah. So happy birthday. Birthdays are important. So happy birthday, boys.
So it's Jimmy Joe Jack and Benny Boback. I don't know.
Okay.
Sure, we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
Happy birthday, boys.
Who else you got, Mark Weber?
That's enough.
You named 2 people. How much more do you want, Mike?
Come on.
I am going to reiterate Rob's call out to our live audience, even though you seem to be dropping like flies at this point. You stay till the end.
This we command.
Thank you for tuning in each and every week. We appreciate you being here. If you're catching us on replay, we appreciate you too. You actually, strange but true, you count just as much. Wherever you're catching us, whether it's on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, go ahead, give us a thumbs up or a heart or a little huggy guy. We do love little huggy guy. Or leave us a comment there. Do what you can to get those algorithms going. If you're catching us on the YouTube, thank you as well. That is where you can do the most good for us. Make sure that you are liking the video down below in the description box, and you are subscribing to the channel. We are here every Tuesday at 9:05 for the TeamStream, and occasionally we have other surprises for you, very occasionally, when my schedule permits, which is not very often, but whatever. We get you every Tuesday. Doug says that we scared them all away with the Doug Dello show.
I probably did it.
Dak Nomad is still here despite all good thinking to the contrary.
Attaboy.
But if we've had one place where we haven't been as good in recent weeks, it's that like button. So make sure you're hitting that like button if you're here for a couple of minutes and you just like what you see. If you got a couple of extra bucks laying around, we do have a coffee account. The link to that is down below. We also have the swag shop courtesy of TeePublic, where there's all kinds of fun What's on Joe Mind inspired designs available for you on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, and all kinds of things. They have trucker caps now. I don't know if we got on trucker caps yet, but we'll see. Anybody showing up at JoeFest with a What's on Joe Mind trucker cap, I'll give you $5. I thought you get to keep the hat, and I'll just give you $5. How's that sound?
What if they come with the hat and the tan?
Well, I mean,
I'll take the tan. I need
right.
it so bad.
We'll just let Mark have all skin colorations.
Or just, if you don't have one, stand next to me, and I'll make you look tan.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get Mark some bronzer for his birthday.
Oh, that'd be awesome if I showed up in public just like nuclear orange. That'd be great.
We're gonna
just don't rub up against anything.
Right?
Touch nothing. That's end of if you're catching us on audio, be sure to leave us a nice review, whether that's Podbean or Spotify, Apple podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, you'll find What's on Joe Mind. I want to also give a shout out to our friends over at the Banned Books podcast, Band Camp. If we're excited to feature them, of course, every week. It is perfect for anyone who hates censorship. It's hosted by Jennifer and Dan. Bandcamp is a comedy podcast where they read banned books, try to figure out why they were banned in the first place. This season, they are reading A Wrinkle in Time, one chapter at a time out loud. If you think banning books will lead to a not-so-great future, then Bandcamp is for you. Whether you're like Jennifer and curious to read the book for the first time, or you're like Dan and you're just a little lazy and you like your reading without all that reading, Bandcamp. It's banned with 2 N's on your favorite podcast player. Subscribe today, and let's all get banned together. Too bad Colin's not around because his ears would have popped right up where Jen's head is. That would have been great.
Dude, he's sitting on top of the couch with his head hanging over the side, just like it has been a day.
Right. He is just dejected and worn out.
It's been a day, Honcho.
Long day, Pops. Long day.
Do you figure he calls you Honcho in his cat mind?
No, I think he considers me probably his top underling, so I appreciate that.
I'm
the odd job. I'm his privileged henchman. That's all right.
All right, that's work. That's good. Being the cat's person, that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
That's rarefied air.
He spreads it around. He generally sleeps in Miss Elizabeth's bed, but he's Derek's cat. Derek picked him, but he and Mrs. Weber, not so good. The other day, all three of us walked by the table, and then my wife did, and he waited and swatted at her. It was hysterical. And let's flip it. I am the dog's 4th round draft pick. By far, right? The other day on the Eternal Baseball podcast, everybody else went to bed, and the dog sat behind me on those stairs whining. And like, this is great. I love it, because I'm sure I'll be able to talk the dog out of this, right?
Anyway, that's all we got. We, as announced earlier in the episode, we do have a special guest lined up for next week, but I didn't tell you who. Be sure to join us as Phil goes away. Boo, Phil.
Whatever.
Boo.
You're the one who lets me on here.
Right. We won't see Phil for a few weeks because we got guest hosts lined up all the way up to JoeFest, and then I don't know if we're doing a show right after JoeFest. We'll see how we're traveling and feeling at the time. But next week, Tuesday at 9, we will be on live with our good friend Pixel Dan. So everybody be sure to bring your good-natured He-Man love. And that sounds terrible, doesn't it? That doesn't sound good at all.
I believe that is Thirst Trap Skeletor.
Yeah, I think it is. And
So that would be,
Check out
that would
the
be
furry shorts.
that would be Thirst Trap Jaw. Thank you very
right.
much. Look at me making He-Man humor.
Well done.
Don't you pigeonhole me.
Well done. But again, our friend Pixel Dan Eardley will be in the building, virtual building with us. I almost got that out. Almost happened.
Go to bed, man.
Right. Oh my God. And insert your own Phil joke here. We will be back next week for an all new episode of What's on Joe Mind. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And yo, Joe. I'd say, man, you better hit that button soon. You better hit it soon. And now I'm stalling it out.
Come on.